Welcome to another Whitehead Moncton podcast. My name is Marsha Marriner and I'm a director in the commercial property team. And with me for this session
is Alexander Bak, who's another director
in commercial property. And we are here today to give an introduction to ourselves, really, and to talk about commercial property and the year ahead. And we're
also going to introduce sort of other things we're going to be talking about throughout the year as well.
Yes. And the characters in the team and the type of subjects that you, the listeners, will, we think, find interesting. Or, in fact, just listen to me and Alex natter about property as we do normally over a cup of coffee on a Monday morning. So I have to be honest, I haven't come with notes. And Alex, who is uber
I have
prepared,
got some notes, actually,
as always. So do you want to go through the sort of subjects that we were going to talk about in the course of the year, and also the hot topics of this week, really?
I don't know if there are any hot topics. The sort of things we're going to be talking about will be commercial property and residential property, because we focus on those areas separately. Mm-hmm. But obviously they make up sort of the wider market as well. One of the main things I had researched was what's happening in the market at the moment, in that the financial markets expect 5 interest rate cuts this year, from 5.25% to below 4%, according to The Guardian.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think interest rates last week went under 4% for the first time in a while. And obviously with the political atmosphere at the moment, and up and coming elections in October, I think there's going to be more kind of fluid reductions in interest rates, particularly from this government wanting to see some kind of turnaround.
We haven't seen any of that translate into an influx of new transactional instructions.
No.
I think our instructions have remained quite steady recently. Commercial property, certainly. Residential, been a bit more tumultuous. And I've done some research on that too.
Oh, have
as well.
you? Good.
Yeah, I have.
Good.
Residential transactions fell for a third consecutive month in November. And throughout the whole year, down by 1% and 2%. But commercial property has increased over the last 12 months by 1%.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think it's different types of commercial properties that have increased. And what I've been finding, I don't know about you, Alex, is actually it's more warehouses and logistics sites that have got more kind of bite, and people wanting to invest in those rather than office space, the standard commercial aspects of property that you actually see on the high street.
Well, that's changed, hasn't it, now? Because people aren't coming to the office anywhere near as much as they used to. I mean, we in our practice work from home as well as in the office, and people don't go shopping anywhere near as much as they used to. It's all online, so therefore we need larger warehouse spaces. And we've seen a number of instructions over the last, since the pandemic, of clients wanting to take big warehouses, which they'll have constructed for them. So we've been dealing with leases for those, for the distribution. And that's had quite an impact on the type of work that we deal with. And as you say, I haven't been instructed in a formal office for a long time, quite a big one. And if I do an office instruction, it's only a small office space and not a big office, a bit like where we work at the moment.
But yeah, I think the tenants have got the slightly upper hand now if landlords are looking to have an office space for a fixed term, because they want to have that element of flexibility. I agree. I've done a few leases of commercial office space, but they have been for short terms and quite flexible from a tenant.
Quite small as well.
Yeah, very small actually. But I had a board meeting with a client today who's actually a farming client by trade, but has diversified in many ways. And that's another subject that we'll be talking about, which would be agricultural, but not in this kind of grain growth and how much you can buy your apples for, more about how farmers have diversified and what they're thinking about moving forward, particularly for them, which is one of the hot topics, is environmental and the use of wetlands, which again has affected a lot of the commercial developments in our area because of the River Stour, which has got issues, and the local authorities have stopped planning because of the wetlands and the water dispensation. So it's actually quite an interesting area, and that farmers are actually looking into diversifying into.
So what sort of areas then are you focusing on in your practice mainly?
In my practice, I do a lot of security work, and in a kind of fragile market, if you could say that, a lot of people cash is key. So lots of people are gearing up. So we do a lot of work with the banks, and I'll be talking about the kind of things that you need to think about in getting your house in order when you're thinking of doing security work, which will keep your costs down. I'll also be talking about the environmental worries that people have in buying properties or commercial properties that are close to rivers, and the impact that has, particularly of flooding, which is a hot topic, and the insurance issues. Looking how we can diversify solar. I mean, I've been instructed on a really exciting power sale agreement over a portfolio of properties, which is something that I think we're going to see more and more, because it's all about renewable energy. So it's that kind of stuff I think I'll be talking about. Just something a little bit quirky. That's pretty much my kind of practice area. I do all the quirky things that people haven't come across before. Not that I'm that exciting, but it's just it's the range of my clients. I have quirky clients.
But you do a mixed bag of stuff.
I do, and I like that. Well. It keeps me out of trouble. As you know, Alex, I like to avoid any sort of trouble. So yeah, no, I think there will be some interesting things to talk about. But also we'll be talking to the team and introducing the team, because we've got a very young team, and this is another reason for wanting to do the podcast, is to share with you the experience that we have now. Because I think sometimes when you think about Whitehead Moncton, you think of the older generation and not the younger generation, and we've got a wide...
Well, I think we're quite diverse in the team.
Yeah, we
Everyone
are
has
in
different
expertise, yeah.
Experience areas, a lot of development, and obviously the rural business, which you handle.
Yeah.
I do leisure work, pubs and hotels and those sorts of things. And we're kept busy with the variety of work that we do have.
Yeah.
And so we do have quite a breadth of experience.
Yeah, so it's really that. So we probably chatted more than 3 minutes.
I feel like
haven't we?
I've given you some interesting facts and figures.
You have, and you've done very well, I have to say. And I will assure you that when we talk next and we have a subject matter, I will bring some figures.
We have to do some background research.
That would help.
Yeah,
but yeah, that would absolutely help.
So just me.
But anyway, I'd like to thank you, Alex, for joining me in the black chairs, and thank you. And that's the end of our podcast. For more information about myself or Alex and the team, then please go to our website, which is www.whitehead-moncton.co.uk.
Whitehead-moncton.co.uk.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you very much for listening.